Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is a new presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel. This is episode 3 of Making Sense. And today's topic is Uyghur Muslims or Chinese Muslims and Pakistan. I've done a video on the history of Uyghurs and East Turkmenistan in 2018. Link is in the description. If you want to know the history of this region and how Islam got here, please feel free to watch the presentation. Again, link is in the description. First and foremost, I pray to Allah Ta'ala to bring ease to the suffering of Uyghur Muslims and to bring safety and security to them. Ameen. Secondly, we Muslims need to set the standards on human rights and we cannot be duplicitous. If we're going to condemn human rights violations in Palestine or Kashmir, then we must equally do so in Yemen and in China and not be silent, even when silence suits our national or political interest. We are Muslims and we cannot be hypocritical or two-faced when it comes to defending human rights, even for those who are not even Muslims. So as you know, I am from Pakistan and I was born and raised in Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. So a lot of this information in this presentation comes from Pakistani sources and not from Western media and not even from Uyghur Muslims themselves. I deliberately wanted to give this perspective from Pakistan as to what's happening from the inside. You can watch the 2018 presentation about the history of Uyghur Muslims and Islam in China and so on. So when it comes to Uyghurs, they have a special place in Pakistani psyche because Dr. Allama Iqbal rahimahullah ta'ala, who envisaged an independent Pakistan, specifically mentioned Kashgar in one of his most famous couplet. Ek hu Muslim haram ki pasbani ke liye, Neel ke sahil se lekar Tabakha ke Kashgar. So he advocated unity of Muslims to defend the Haramain from the coastline of River Nile to the dust plains of Kashgar. So in his mind, Muslims are united based on the ideology of Islam regardless of the geography. And he specifically mentions Kashgar. In our language, poetry, culture, Kashgar is very frequently mentioned. Pakistan borders with China in a vast inhospitable Himalayas. And if you grew up in Islamabad in the 1980s like I did, then you would witness Chinese Muslims in Pakistan. Often due to harsh economic and climatic conditions, they crossed the borders into Pakistan because there wasn't any official border control in this area for decades. The Chinese Muslim look very similar, almost the same as the Muslims of Gilgit-Baltistan area of Pakistan and very close to Tajik Muslims. So in the streets of Rawalpindi, you will not be able to distinguish facially or feature-wise Chinese from the GB Muslims of Pakistan or even the Tajik Muslims. For centuries, these Chinese have traded in the area today, which is known as Pakistan, and vice versa. Today, the border crossing has excellent facilities on the Khunjara Pass. This is what this is called, the Khunjara Pass. And it's not very difficult to get the visa and cross into China and vice versa. And there's a regular bus service in either direction from Rawalpindi. Many Pakistani madrasas had Chinese children and to the best of my knowledge, when the Chinese decided to crack down on Muslims, they asked the Pakistani government to give these children back, which no Pakistani government obliged. It was Benazir Bhutto who handed over 150 orphan Chinese children from Chaman, Baluchistan area to the Chinese. There's no official acknowledgement or news of this barbarity from the evil Queen Benazir Bhutto or in the Pakistani media, but this was the first official Pakistani collaboration with the Chinese on the issue of Uyghur Muslims. Then things escalated during the Musharraf era. Madrasa Anwarul Ulum Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala in Rawalpindi was shut down because Uyghur Muslims sponsored it and many Uyghur children studied there. So at the behest of the Chinese government, the Musharraf government shut it down. Then you have many hostels in Rawalpindi. So as these immigrants came into Pakistan, because there's a lot of GB Muslims, Gilgit-Baltistani Muslims in this area of Pakistan, the Chinese Muslims also settled in Rawalpindi. It's a large city, trading facilities and so on. So there were hostels in this area. One of the well-known one was Kashgarabad hostel facility in Rawalpindi, which housed many of these immigrants. The Chinese government officially complained to Pakistan about links with Eastern Turkmenistan Islamic Movement, EITM, which has now been demolished and dismantled by China, and the Musharraf government shut down this hostel. It no longer exists. One of the most well-known trusts or charities in Pakistan was called OMAR Uyghur Trust, and it was run by two brothers, Omar and Akbar Khan. They were involved in many charity and legitimate causes, not just to Uyghurs, but to the rest of Pakistan. This charity was very well known in Pakistan. And once again, this charity is shut down, does not exist. I have no idea about the whereabouts of these brothers, Umar and Akbar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. Ameen. I don't know about their families, or nobody knows where they are, but this charity was shut down. Their family, their mother, their brother, everybody was detained. Now, if you go to Rawalpindi, which is right next door to the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad, where I was born and grown up, there's China market in Rawalpindi. So any Pakistani can go shop, drink a cup of tea, and conspicuously ask Uyghurs about the situation in China, and they will tell you and verify their families are missing and so on. So they're not allowed to give interviews to the Pakistani or foreign media, of course, but anyone can go and shop and sort of chit chat with Chinese Muslims. Most of them speak fluent Urdu. So a lot of Pakistanis ask me how they can verify. Very simple. Go to Rawalpindi, go to China market, go for a few days, develop relationships with these Chinese Muslims, and you can find out what's actually going on. Then, as I've said, Pakistan and China share a border. So for hundreds of years, there have been links, trade links and so on. And many Pakistanis have Uyghur wives, Chinese Muslim wives. What I've been told from my sources that thousands of Pakistani traders have Uyghur wives and they've been forced to give talaq or issue divorce to them. All legal challenges in Pakistani court systems have been suppressed. There are literally dozens of cases in the Rawalpindi court system which can be verified by any Pakistani citizen. No media coverage in Pakistan and no news. The children of these mixed couples are separated, and once cases are in the Pakistani, and there are many cases in the Pakistani court system of missing Uyghur children. Parent access, no media coverage about parent access and separation of children of these mixed race Pakistani and Uyghur couples at all. What I've been told by eyewitness accounts that when you cross the border into China, and as I've told you, the regular bus service from Pakistan, many people cross the border into China and the other way around. And I've been told by Pakistani eyewitness accounts that when they cross the border into China and take the bus to Urumqi, Urumqi is one of the biggest towns you hit when you cross the border into China from Pakistan. So what they're telling me is these Pakistanis are telling me that they can clearly see Uyghurs are separated, and then their men and women are separated, while the Pakistanis and other nationalities are allowed to carry on with their business. The Chinese don't even hide the treatment of these Uyghurs and are an open display. The Pakistanis are saying this. By the way, when I went to Palestine, I saw the exact same thing. When in buses, Palestinians are taken off, and other tourists were allowed to remain. The Palestinians are checked and interrogated, and Israel does this in plain sight. Pakistani eyewitnesses are telling me that this is exactly what they see in Urumqi. I'm also told that Chinese men are entered inside Uyghur homes and Muslim women are raped to change the demographics of Uyghur population. And I've been told that people in Pakistan know that this is actually happening. So the West and its media are no friends to Muslims, and their agenda is obviously to challenge the rise of China. But there's a lot of truth in the news which is being reported out of China and the atrocities being committed to Uyghur Muslims. May not be 100% accurate, but there's a lot of truth to it. Inside Pakistan, I'm being told that activists are not allowed to meet Chinese ambassadors. I'm not talking about, paid and funded activists and so on. I'm talking about Muslims who are concerned about the situation of Uyghur Muslims inside China. Muslims are not allowed to meet the Chinese ambassadors. Even Muslims in Pakistan who have influence and so on, not allowed. I'm also being told that talaq and child custody cases are not allowed to go through the judicial process inside Pakistan and are being suppressed. The media in Pakistan has almost zero reports on any of this. Ulama of Pakistan who are vocal on Kashmir and Palestine are silent either because they don't know the extent of the atrocities or are deliberately silent. Importantly, the government of Pakistan and Imran Khan are also silent. Thus, it is our duty in the West Whenever the politicians or religious scholars from Pakistan visit, we force them to speak on the topic of Uyghur Muslims. Secondly, we support politicians like Marco Rubio in the United States and others in the West who are trying to put pressure on the Chinese to stop these atrocities. I believe that the Western pressure on China will only increase, and with that, the issue of Uyghurs, because they have a pressure point on China. We don't care why they're doing it. We should support the effort to bring safety and security to Uyghur Muslims. Lastly, I would like to end with an apology. As a Pakistani, I believe that my people, my ulama, my Islamic institutes, and my government are in a solid position to pressurize Pakistan, pressurize China, but we're abdicating our responsibility. And for it, I offer an unreserved apology. Pakistan is a geopolitical pivot. If you understand trends and political and do political analysis like I do, Pakistan is a well-known geopolitical pivot. And with CPEC, we hold China's trade jugular vein. And if Pakistan and Pakistanis want to, they can put enormous pressure on China to stop this genocide. It is unfortunate that we have decided to sell our souls for Chinese yen. We have Islamic parties and ulama in Pakistan who can bring hundreds and thousands of demonstrators on the streets of Karachi and Lahore on Kashmir or Palestine, but we do not even issue statements on the treatment of Uyghur Muslims. It is truly a sad state of affairs. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.